Good morning and welcome to the Raben Report. I'm your host, Elliot Raben, so get ready to get triggered. Good morning and welcome to the Raben Report. I'm your host, Elliot Raben, as you might have heard in our intro. And with me, as usual, I have my expert panel, Adam, Daniel, and Marshall. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Doing very well.
Good.
Awesome. So, let's start with our 5-minute recap of the week. We'll begin with Maxime Bernier at Ryerson.
Pronunciation.
Thank you. Well, I do speak French. If I, oui, oui, mon chéri. So, Maxime Bernier was at Ryerson, and also, yeah, Maxime Bernier, and we'll talk about the other two special guests that came. So, Marshall, why don't you start us off, because this was partly organized by you, I would say.
So a member of our team at Campus Conservatives is actually working very closely with the Maxime Bernier campaign, and he invited them down. Unfortunately, we had some complications with Ryerson. They moved us to a small pub from our original venue. Still worked out, still had a fantastic time, and got to have a beer with Maxime, and it was a grand old time.
Yeah, I actually went to that.
Yeah, I saw you there.
I'm actually very happy that I went to that, because what I found was that, I don't know, growing up, both my parents are very, blood red liberals. In 2011, we voted NDP, blah, blah, blah. But I think that, the conservative leadership race this time around is very, very different. Because I personally believe that the conservatives have woken up, that they cannot win an election without the young vote. And I think that you need to shift a little bit more to the center, if not in the left direction, in order to sway the young vote. So I believe that, somebody like Maxime Bernier, who's talking about smaller government, ending regulations, ending increased tariffs on things like beer, really speaks to our generation, and I was very happy to listen to him.
All right, well, I'm glad you enjoyed the event, Adam.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, but it seemed like a good time. Yeah.
It honestly was a good time. I don't necessarily agree with his big plan to privatize a lot of stuff, but things like the Canada Post, I think, need some whipping and privatization.
Everybody can agree Canada Post needs something to happen to it. I
should not be paying $15 to ship a letter express mail.
It's a silly system
in this city. So
still nothing?
Yeah, even with these ones, whatever.
Try plugging in the regular headphones.
As long as we can hear you, Daniel, because I don't even wear my headphones half the time.
Because apparently can't.
You can hear me?
Yeah,
I can
all
hear
that
you.
matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lit. So, next on our weekly news update, which actually happened before Maxime Bernier, Kevin O'Leary was at Ryerson again, thanks to Marshall. Why don't you start us off there again?
That was a hard thing to swing, but I'm glad we made it happen. Our event got canceled literally hours before it was supposed to happen. We had to really get in there and do some serious negotiating in order to get it back on. And it happened. We had a massive turnout. It was fantastic. And O'Leary, he's so great to see speak, and it was great.
Yeah, I went there actually. So for Maxime, I was a photographer, but for Kevin O'Leary, our friend Kara was there, who actually did our shots for the Raben Report. Shout out to her. I also have to remember, she gave us the idea about celebrities and Oscars, so I forgot to... Celebrities and politics.
Ooh.
So I forgot to mention that.
Wonderful.
So I was there as a guest for Kevin O'Leary, and it was pretty packed. And he's much nicer than you'd think in person.
He is.
I know a lot of what he is for cameras.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely a personality, 100%.
Yeah,
you can't agree
but
with that.
I think a lot of his ideas were good. He made sense. I just needed to get that camera better. He made sense to me at least, and he said one of the classic lines he says on TV: 2019 isn't going to be an election; it's going to be an exorcism. So I heard it live. We heard it live.
That was fantastic.
Yeah. Next event.
Did he ask for royalties? No.
I don't think so, but
right.
Marshall may know. Next event, which was yesterday, Ezra Levent came to Ryerson.
Yes,
And again, who do you think organized that?
the
Marshall.
ever controversial Ezra Levant. That was a hell of a time. We had to deal with degeneracy of the highest caliber.
Oh, good God.
All day, not just at the event, but all day.
Yeah.
It was a tough day. I'm glad we organized it. I'm glad it happened. I think if a lot of those protesters, and there was a lot of protesting, if a lot of those protesters came in and had to and listened to what Levant had to say, I think that they would have taken back a lot of their comments. I mean, I think Ezra is sometimes a bit of a dick, for lack of a better term. I would never brand him with a lot of those terms that they branded him with. They were saying, like, transphobia, Islamophobia, homophobia, sexism, which I think are all very, that's a lot of reaching. A lot of jumping to conclusions from without sufficient evidence. I myself had a run-in with the eye-opener.
Oh, yeah, tell us about that.
So we had a situation where we had a lot of security concerns on both Ezra's security and Ryerson's security. There was very strict rules and guidelines. Press had to get a press pass, which was very easy to get. All you had to do was email Ryerson Campus Conservative, say, hey, we're press, can we come? And we'd say yes. We said yes to everybody. And then show up on time or early. The eye-opener shows up an hour late without a press pass, like they're special, demands entry, accuses us of banning the press, even though we had multiple members of the press inside already. Gets up in my face, gets up in security's face, is very rude to us. Admittedly and regrettably, I made a rude comment to one of the members of the eye-opener, which was the only thing reported on by them, and now they're really out to assassinate my character and demonize me. So I'm working on that, but all in all, there is really only one side to this story. There was a serious lack of journalistic integrity there.
Speaking of journalistic integrity, I'd like to just
You brought up the picture.
Let's see what this kind of cuckery that happened right here towards John.
Let me get
Marshall John Derbyshire. If everybody can see that's going on right there.
Hold on, let me get it.
Live reporting here, boys.
Boom.
So,
and they picked a beautiful picture of Marshall.
that was an amazing
like
reply
Tinder
from Marshall
profile
right
worthy.
there.
And so, yes, I replied somewhat flippantly, which they were not happy about. I had accusations of
There's the original
misogyny
picture
thrown
right
my
there.
way, yeah.
Marshall John Derbyshire is refusing to let the eye-opener and whoever that reporter is, probably fake news, because I don't like you, apparently. That's what Marshall said. She was personally invited to the event.
She was not invited to the event. What had happened was a individual who had little to no, nothing to do with the organization of our event, had sent a message to Alana, hey, are you coming? Which she took as a personal, formal invitation to show up as press to the event, which was not the case. Security, and I mean this is key, security had given us orders to stop letting people in approximately 10 minutes before the eye-opener arrived. There was nothing we could do. I couldn't let my friends in. My friends wanted to come in. I had to say no to them. We just were not letting more people in due to security concerns. So.
Yeah, see, there's another thing going on right here. Right here is it? Yeah, you want to talk about actually the terms of the protests that were happening there too?
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
So the
There's a little
protests
video here too showing
were going on. They were chanting, "Hey, hey, ho, ho, your racist shit has got to go."
White supremacy has got to go. You
It's
can change it with
honestly,
anything.
and the best part, they were saying like, no Islamophobia, no anti-Semitism. Wait. Isn't Ezra Levent Jewish? Hold on.
Yeah.
There was actually a self-hating Jew in the room that Ezra pointed out. He's like, that's Zach. I know Zach. He is a Jew and he hates Jews, but nobody made a big deal about him because he's not. You know.
I did defend Zach. Zach actually interviewed me and he asked me how I felt about Ezra calling him a self-hating Jew.
Which one was Zach? Was he the one?
He was working for Torontoist. But he came up to me and interviewed me and asked me how I felt about Ezra calling him a self-hating Jew. I told him I didn't like it. I thought very left-wing thing of Ezra to do, to bring identity politics into it, and to...
We have somebody at the window. And he's holding a sign.
That's another thing we have to report in terms of breaking.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that next.
Lift it up. No, lower. Oh, wait. Okay, here we go. Perfect. There's Tara in London. There's Rob Weary, a big fan of the show. He's saying hi to Marshall. Like, I feel like we're animals in the zoo. But, yeah.
You
Continue.
mess with the bull, you get the horns, buddy. There you go.
Continue.
Yeah, and so, I said, like, I don't like Ezra calling you a self-hating Jew. I don't like that guy. I don't like his reporting. I think he's a reporter with a lack of integrity. But I also would never call him a self-hating Jew. I think that was offside on Ezra's part. Sorry, was that?
Uncalled for.
Yeah, uncalled for, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but it was quite silly for them to call us anti-Semites, Islamophobes for hosting a Jew who came to speak about ending Islamophobia, which I'm so glad that Ezra spoke about that. And yeah, you know what? Although I had the world's largest headache after that event, it was still a great event.
And you know what you need for that? A nice, cold, refreshing beer.
Yes. Yes.
With a side of Maxime Bernier.
Yeah.
Free the beer.
Yes. So lastly, we have
Let's talk about
no time,
maybe
but
just
the
a little bit
London
more
terror
in-depth,
attack,
yeah, about that.
which I
pretty
had
shocking.
written down.
Disgusting.
I can.
I mean, I just have the preliminary reports. If you have more
From what I saw,
in
some
depth.
crazy maniac driving around with a car and ran over
Yeah, like
a significant
terrorist.
amount of people.
One thing that
And
I
he had some
think.
knife or something like that, and a police officer he stabbed the police officer apparently.
And there were gunshots
Yeah.
near Parliament,
There's gunshots
and then
because they
he
were firing
rammed a bunch
towards
of
him after
people.
that, yeah, there's one of the witness reports saying witnessing that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we can't 100% confirm this, so this is slightly anecdotal or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hopefully the life.
They made some
Loss of life
arrests
is reduced.
overnight, which for the time differences are morning.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have any confirmations yet. But what I found interestingly about this and about certain recent terror events is that they're not being reported very much. And for this one, I have two theories. One, Trump is overshadowing everybody.
Is this going on Twitter? Is
As
this
soon
actually
as-
having anything on Twitter?
No, there's no pray for London. Nobody's changing their
Yeah, but
profile
look what
picture to
happened
the
last year, a while
Yeah,
back with Paris and everything.
nobody's changing their profile picture to the British flag. So I have a few theories. One, nobody cares about Britain because they colonized everybody, and people might feel that this is payback or
Yeah, but you
Which
can't
it
make
isn't.
deserve.
Which is not. You can't.
which isn't right.
It's the same thing. It's
and
the
I
same.
haven't seen any of that, but a big part of me thinks that way. I mean, I don't think that way, but I think people think that way. Another reason is that Trump is overshadowing everybody, and as soon as Trump opens his mouth, he gets 80% of the media coverage. And third, the guy that they originally thought did it was a Muslim cleric. And the Muslim cleric that they thought did it ended up being in jail at the time of the incident, so
Yeah,
there's
I
no
heard
way he
that.
could do it. So I feel like people just discarded the media immediately and just stopped caring about.
See, but it's also the fact that instead of acknowledging the fact that it happened, the mayor of London is just well, this is going to make Muslims look bad, and it's that's not what it's about. It's about this happened. Focus on the terror attack.
But
The mayor of London has his foot in his mouth.
Sadiq Khan is very emotionally involved, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause he is a
should
Muslim.
focus on facts. You know what? If a Jew, there was a Hasidic Jew who killed some gay people during Pride in Tel Aviv,
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. My bad. And when I heard that, I thought to myself, "What the hell is wrong
When
with
did
this
this
guy?
happen?
Why did you don't kill these people?" I didn't think, "Oh, this is gonna make the Jews look terrible."
And
Focus on the stop. Identity
okay, you
politics.
triggered.
This thing.
You know,
Anyway.
way I see it, Sadiq Khan himself did say, terrorist attacks are part and parcel of living in a big city,
Yeah,
which I think is probably the most ridiculous thing any mayor has ever said.
You don't
I
just
think-
show up to
I think-
Toronto and you're just I'm ready.
Yeah. I think Rob Ford has said more sensible things while in a drunken stupor and on crack. But that is so silly. Look at Budapest, look at Tokyo, look at Moscow, look at
Toronto.
Toronto, Warsaw. Look at all these cities that have no terrorist attacks. No, it is not part and parcel of living in a big city.
Yeah.
I don't know what Sadiq Khan is saying. Sounds like he's trying to normalize terrorism to me. I'm not
Yeah.
making that accusation, but that's what it sounds like.
But we shouldn't
I
at all
agree.
because that's just inexplicable.
And it's sad to me
disgusting
because
act.
there are people who think that we should just get used to terrorist attacks, and
it's wrong.
ridiculous.
But I
and,
think
it also comes from both sides.
we shouldn't be getting used to them. We should be prepared for them. if
Yeah, and
anything
these
were to
freaking
happen.
hashtags and profile picture changes do nothing.
Yeah.
They do nothing.
Yeah.
And a big from the left, it's saying we should get used to terrorism because this is a result of the power vacuum caused by the Iraq War and
And
it's all
Trump.
America's fault and Trump's fault.
No,
but it's
yeah.
also coming from the right saying saying we should prepare for a holy war, and people like Steve Bannon. And that's the very far right, and I'm admitting that openly. But it's also people saying like, oh, we should get used to this if we don't ban Muslims.
Yeah. No, and that's silly.
If we don't ban Muslims, then this is what's going to happen. And I don't agree with either. But
people think that a terrorist attack is simply like only with people of like Middle Eastern origin, which is not true at all.
See, the thing is, terrorism is defined as an attack for political purposes.
Yeah.
Right.
But when people think terrorism now, we've in terms of media coverage, it's only been focused.
The thing is, it's now racist to say that a lot of attacks are perpetrated by radical Islamists. It's racist. It's racist to say that.
No. It's not racist to say.
No. To you, but. To the far left, it's racist to say because they don't, feelings over facts, and
it's not racist to say a radical Islam, a radical Muslim, or a radical Islamist.
But see,
it's racist to say a Muslim or an Islamist, because if you don't put the radical in front, then you're generalizing all Muslims.
Yeah, which is not true at all.
Which is not true. It's not racist to call them radicals, because they are radicals. They can be purple, then they're still radicals.
But I think there's just an apparent problem in terms of with different minority groups and like ethnic groups in all parts of our society. Right now, like it's a problem, and we should try and fix this and try to help us. In comparison, like right now, like there's a significant portion of Islam, of people that follow Islam that are radicalized, but that does not mean all of them are radicalized.
Exactly.
In the same way that like we can see right now, like with like in terms of like, the black population in the United States, they have a significant representation of crime reports and of just crime being criminals and stuff like that. That doesn't mean all black people are going to do that.
And it's not because they're black.
Yeah, it's not because they're black. It's because of the situation that they're in terms of living in a long poverty.
It's the desperation.
It's a ripple effect of like American society over the last 150 years and stuff like that.
So, I just think that the whole situation is just. It's a whole mess, and
we should have an episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have an episode on like
on Muslims and black people.
Muslims and black people.
That's the episode name.
That's all I have to say.
Copyright Daniel. Okay, you'll have your own show then, or else we'll get kicked off the air. But anyway, let's get to our main story because we have like half an hour left. We went, but I like that conversation.
Yeah.
So to our main story now. Click on this link to find out what makes Jennifer Lopez flawless. Click here to see 25 young pictures of Michael Jackson. Click here to find out Trump's secret classified documents that Russia has in order to blackmail him. Sound familiar? Yep, that's clickbait. First, bait, masturbate, and now clickbait is added to the bait list. This past year, clickbait has been at the center of controversy. Whether it was because of unconfirmed facts or simply fake news, people took the bait. And it's not always necessarily their fault. The integration of clickbait and real news within society makes it very difficult to distinguish what is right and what is wrong. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Before we get to the questions, I want to mention to everyone once again, we're live on spiritlive.ca and Facebook Live, so you can tune in to us there and message us directly on our Facebook page or live Facebook feed to have your thoughts read live on air. Wherever you are, whatever you think, we want to hear it. So the first question, what's clickbait?
Clickbait for me is just bad reporting, I think. I would say that like reporting that just like they don't try necessarily just to get at 100% of the facts. They're actually just more trying to get as many views as possible. So they use their type of headlines and stuff like that and doing the most outrageous and ridiculous and controversial headlines or something that's just gonna like garner the attention of the masses, just in order to just create like a discussion. The problem is though that particular type of discussion is uneducated because they're only using that clickbait as a type of source. Yeah. An example. I think BuzzFeed is one of the prime examples of something like that.
BuzzFeed.
It seemed like some articles like 14 fictional lawyers from TV shows that you wish were totally real.
Which garlic bread are you?
10 reasons to save your orange peels.
Yeah. It's like 14 pics of Barack Obama and Joe Biden that you're just gonna absolutely love and show your dog. Like what? That's not reporting anymore. I want to hear about like actual reporting of like just current events. That's what journalism should be about more now.
Clickbait, I think, can be defined in a couple different ways. I think you have your clickbait that you see at the bottom of news websites like the Daily Wire and stuff. That's just so silly. It's just like a Toronto mom is 78 years old but looks 2. Dermatologist hater. Click here to find out how. And that's just like, nobody clicks on those. Like, I don't think anybody actually clicks on those except for like really old people like who don't know how to use the internet.
I guess I fell.
But
for
then
that
you
one
have
then.
like your more sophisticated clickbait that like comes in the form of BuzzFeed or
Native advertising as well, maybe.
yeah, sure. You have your clickbait that people actually click on, and then you have your clickbait that, you know, people often describe this as clickbait. And I wouldn't even think it's necessarily fair to call it clickbait because nobody actually clicks on it. But it's headline-based reporting. It's reporting where nobody reads the article. People just read the headline and form their opinion based on it. And you see that with a lot of like Salon and Jezebel and other things like that.
Jezebel.
And it's
Yeah, go ahead.
and I mean it's just ridiculous. Like you have people completely being misinformed because some headline is so sensationalist.
We just had a comment from Austin. 4 males in the area wanting to fuck. That's one
Yeah.
clickbait.
Yeah,
Exactly,
hot
yeah.
single ladies in your area.
Or you'll get a pop-up. It's like it's supposed to be a chat window, and it's like, "Hey, cutie."
Yes. Yes. Hey,
I am
kid.
22.54 miles away from you. Yes. It's like Harper talking
Just
about
send me your bank
Netflix.
information and
Yeah.
like your, and your
Yeah.
address.
Just like that fake
Yeah.
Skype logo, like, hey, want to Skype
Yeah,
and meet
yeah,
up? It's
yeah.
just like, or Snap fuck. That's funny. Snap fuck,
man.
not the fake, not
Is
the real
is profanity
Snapchat.
allowed on this show now? I thought there was a rule against that.
It is, but we just try to keep it at a
Well,
minimum.
okay.
But like,
I see.
I think my
Still-
favorite is Dirty Tinder.
Yeah.
It's like if you really want to hook up with women, go on Dirty Tinder, not actual Tinder. Screw
Yeah.
you.
See, that's the traditional form of clickbait. When we were all, 13-year-old
people
little boys
now know our browsing history
on the computer being like, oh my god, there are people that want to see me.
Yeah.
Giving our computers, virtual aids with all the viruses that they got after clicking on links like
The
that.
only people who click on it are people on both extremes of the age spectrum. Nobody who grew up with the internet clicks on it. Like,
Exactly.
Like children who are using the internet, like who aren't supposed to be using the internet, click on it. Like
Yeah.
13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, and then like
We
old
now know Marshall's
people.
childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine too. I'm guilty.
Well, I mean,
No,
you
me
see-
too. It's
Like
Yeah.
you're 13 years
You
old.
scroll, but you don't
you're in
click.
the throes of puberty, and you see a scantily clad woman pop up, and she's trying to chat with you. It looks like.
very nice.
Like,
He said, "Well, thank you, Holga.
What
I would love to
13-year-old
talk to
can?
you."
What 13-year-old can resist that? I mean, although I think I was a pretty smart kid, I never actually like went through with that stuff because I could tell something was suspicious. Like, what does this 23-year-old woman want with me?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the more traditional form of clickbait that we all know and have come to love over the years.
But now it's like with massive
yeah,
media outlets,
what
which is the
I
problem.
think clickbait now is okay. This is an example. This is the one example that pissed me off the most this election, where you get an
Wait,
article.
there was an election.
There was what?
I have no idea, man.
So
There's
basically,
another one now here at Ryerson.
in the U.S. election, let's specify the U.S. election. There was an interview done with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump had said, apparently, the headlines and everybody else and all these love to like Mick and BuzzFeed and Vox and AJ Plus love to talk about it and say that Trump thinks that soldiers coming back with PTSD can't handle the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
I
discussed
clicked on
this on a
this,
previous
I'm
show. That's a
like-
prime
I'm like-
example of clickbait.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, either he's an idiot or he's an ass. So I clicked on the article, and what he had said was 4 soldiers that have come back with PTSD, they come back with it, and they've gotten PTSD because they could not handle the combat. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that was the wake-up call for me to not believe the headlines and to not do what Marshall had said and base my opinion off of headlines. Because I had come to be very good at that. Because
Yeah.
I can talk out of my ass for 80% of my argument and use the 20% headline to formulate an opinion. So I think that's what clickbait is to me. It's when you like John Oliver did a very good bit on this. I know that some people don't like John
Oh,
Oliver.
with native advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did a very good bit on that, and he talked about the movie. Oh, what was it? About the reporting of the Boston
Bombings?
clergy molestations. Mark Ruffalo,
Okay.
Bryan Cranston.
Oh, Spotlight.
Pull it up right now.
Spotlight. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, that's what it's called.
So they did a version of what Spotlight looked like then and what Spotlight would look like now.
In terms of like its
in terms of
reporting?
clickbait, because Spotlight went against the grain. The reporters, the actual reporters of Spotlight, they went against the grain, and they discovered a ring of child pedophilia and molestations from Boston clergymen, and they just pounded it towards the people, and they made people understand that this is really happening. And then John Oliver did his version of what it would be like now, and then they were all sitting in the room, and they'd be like, this won't really get many views. Maybe we just shouldn't talk about this. So that's what it was. So that's what another thing that clickbait is to me, is that we have lost our attention span.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't want to read a whole article. We just want a quick, 1.5 minute AJ Plus video that plays to that and takes little bits and pieces out of context and then puts it together and then gives us an opinion.
Yeah, I feel like for me personally, in terms of the news and stuff, I'm pretty bad in terms of how it comes to gathering my news. I try to get it as much in terms of what other people tell me, and then actually look at actual sources and stuff. But if now in our society, since like you said, we have such a short attention span, I don't like admitting it, but in terms of some of the information I do get is using Snapchat and stuff like that.
Yeah, the little,
and it's because
the click stuff, and it's perfect because
it
it just shows you some of the stuff.
Yeah, and
but when you look at it, it's very problematic because I understand that some people, they're just gonna base their entire opinions,
and that's the problem. And the thing is, it's because of things like Snapchat and Tinder that make it so easy to get rid of something.
I
but
don't think you get news from Tinder.
But I'm talking in terms of attention span. In terms of attention span,
just in terms of content and media.
Yeah, it just makes it so easy to get rid of something you don't like. You see a girl you don't find attractive, done. You see something on Snapchat that's 10 seconds long and you don't like it, whatever, it's done, 10 seconds. And now that's how we base the videos. That's why videos are getting shorter. I can't last more than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So let me ask then, why, what?
Sorry, I have a very dirty mind. I apologize.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's what the show is for. Remember, Raben Report After Dark. So, what effect, or how has clickbait affected media and media trustworthiness? Because you can't really distinguish anymore. It's really hard to distinguish what's real and what's fake. So how's it affected?
Now, one thing I'd like to clarify something I said earlier to apply to that.
No takesies, backsies.
The headline reporting, I was thinking about it. It's not intentional. News outlets get nothing from you just reading a headline and not clicking on it. So the headlines are so sensationalist and crazy so that you will click on it so you can get the full story. The problem is, nobody does that. Nobody has the attention span. People read a headline like, okay, my opinion's set in stone now. It's done. People read a headline from CNN. Now, this wasn't real, I found out, but somebody posted this and it looked very real, and I was laughing at it all night last night.
You got drawn into the clickbait.
It was a CNN headline that somebody had doctored and made look real. It said, "Is President Trump afraid of stairs?" And that's the kind of thing that ideally you want to, CNN wants you to click on that and go, okay, why is President Trump afraid of stairs? But no, so many people don't even want to click on it. They just see, oh, Trump's afraid of stairs? What? That's crazy. I'm going to go tell all my friends that Trump's afraid of stairs. And I mean, that's it's unintentional, I think, because there's nothing for them to gain by you glazing over their headline and not continuing on. But that's what happens.
Well, see, we can look at this article right now. I just pulled up from Vox too. The healthcare bill could be Donald Trump's Iraq war. The way that they write that.
Yeah, it just
what?
It reels you in.
The
it's just
healthcare bill could be Donald Trump's Iraq war.
Yeah, 500,000 Iraqis died, 2,000 Americans died.
Exactly.
That's exactly what a healthcare bill is.
Yeah.
But they say that as they say things like, oh, Iraq war, it's the same thing as getting free healthcare for all of its citizens. No, but you're just saying that kind of stuff is and people associate the problems with the Iraq war just in comparing it to Donald Trump.
Everything there. Why would Democrats ever let Neil Gorsuch be confirmed? Well, now I want to know what's wrong with him. Why is he so crazy? Why is he so bad? We do have some comments coming. BuzzFeed and Mike know that the majority of their viewers won't read the rest of the articles, so it works quite effectively on their readers, unfortunately. And then there's a question attached to it. Do you think clickbait articles are more prevalent on the right or the left?
I think they're both very guilty of it. I think you see and it's so funny how much the right makes fun of clickbait when Breitbart and Daily Wire and The Blaze and Red State and everybody, all those other trashy ones are so bad for it.
If you can't beat him, join him.
Like,
you know,
for
that's
example,
the
even
good
Milo Yiannopoulos, and I found this quite humorous. Like, people thought this was like the work of Satan, but I thought it was quite humorous. Milo Yiannopoulos saying birth control makes women fat and unattractive. That was obvious clickbait. I thought it was funny, but it was
Yeah.
obvious clickbait.
Stop being so sexist and misogynistic, Marshall. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Or would you rather your daughter had feminism or
Or
cancer?
cancer.
Yeah, and see, the problem with that is that
You
they
can't
attack.
take that seriously.
No. But the thing is, they attack him for it. He asked the question. People responded. Most people said they'd rather have
There's a video-
cancer,
there's
and he's telling us like, I have had cancer patients message me saying I would rather have cancer
Yeah.
again.
One of his
than
speeches,
feminism.
I believe it was at
Some university.
Kentucky State, I want to say. And this woman stands up. She's like, Milo, I'd like to say to you, I'm a cancer survivor twice.
Oh yeah, I saw this one.
And I would much rather have cancer than feminism.
so
There's another one. It's like, oh,
So terrible.
there's another.
See, and like I personally
That's
would
so
rather
terrible.
have feminism than cancer, just because like
I think most
just-
people would.
Yeah, but the fact that it's you can't attack him for asking the question.
Yeah.
It's like somebody attacking me for asking like
There's another
like
example
what is
of, like, some
clickbait?
girl who's like she's asking a question towards Milo too. He's like, oh yeah, I had like a stage 2 lymphoma. He's like, oh I'm sorry, but like I'm also a feminist. He's like, so why is it so bad that I support the equality of the sexes and stuff like that? He's like, that's not what he's trying to say at all, man.
And then,
Like, listen to what he's saying.
Milo
at least.
dove into a rather eloquent explanation of what he's trying to say. He goes, that's just unfortunately not what feminism is anymore. And kind of explained on that. And I can see where he's going with it. Do I necessarily agree with him? In some ways, not completely. In some ways, I do. In some ways, the feminist movement has been hijacked. And I
what it
can
used to be. Nothing
absolutely
was the same.
understand why people wouldn't want to associate themselves with it, why people wouldn't want to call themselves feminists. And I totally respect people who refuse to call themselves feminists for that reason. I do call myself a feminist. A lot of people disagree with me that I'm a feminist. I am. I don't support a lot of things that feminists today support. But I do support equality of the sexes under the law.
If
and
you
that's
don't
what
support
it's.
equality of the sexes, you're actually like what?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you then? Like,
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into feminism because one, that's
That's a
topic,
whole
and
different
two,
topic.
no, we're not talking.
I'm not a woman, so I don't.
Did we
feel
already
like-
have an episode
not?
on that?
I'm not.
We
a
have
woman.
not had an episode on feminism. That's
Oh.
a bad idea.
No. It's
I
a
think we
good.
can do it.
No,
it's a good
very, very
idea.
bad
We're just
idea.
gonna get.
I don't-
I want to answer this person's question. That's what I want to do.
Also, we apparently suck because we mentioned cancer. But anyway,
Oh, it's
Breitbart is truth. Also, anyway, continue.
Okay, I want to get into that person's question. I honestly believe that the left is more victim to clickbait. One, because
the left.
the left.
Oh, the left.
There are
Victim or make more of it.
no, they
Or
make more
click
of it
more of
and
it.
they click more of
Okay.
it. One, because there are more leftist news sources.
You're right.
Yeah.
And two, social media is dominated by liberals.
Yeah.
And conservative media is, you have to sort of comb through this jungle of left-wing trash to get to conservative media. But it's there, but it's definitely not as prevalent as left-wing news. I'm talking about about left-wing news, not in a negative connotation, but in just in context. For me, the problem with the left is that if I'm going to talk about the context of Trump, because this is when clickbait became relevant to
Yeah.
me, the left is sitting on the edge of their seats and waiting for more reasons to hate Trump. They're waiting. They're
Yeah.
waiting for more reasons to hate the Republicans. And I can understand critique, and I can understand not being trustworthy of the Republicans or the GOP or Trump. I get that completely. But yesterday, I was a victim of clickbait, and I'm victimizing myself. I watched a 2-minute and 32-second video on how Trump eats his steak well done with ketchup,
Oh, yeah.
and how that is a problem. And I finished the video, and I sat there.
If you look at the amount of ketchup has, that shows the amount of anti-Semitism and sexism that Donald
No,
Trump
they were
believes
talking
in.
about how he's a sociopath because he eats his steak well done with ketchup.
I think that's ridiculous because I think that steak with
and
ketchup
ketchup is
is
great.
good. I mean, it's not. Listen, hey, can I please explain? It's not the way
You
that
had,
I would
30
ever.
seconds.
It's not the
Whoa.
way that I would ever typically eat my steak. But if somebody gave me a plate of steak with ketchup on the side, I would maybe dip my steak in the ketchup. I
would try it,
There's
but,
not
like-
only one way to eat ketchup, or only one.
Yeah.
There's not only one way to eat
Straight
steak.
from the bottle.
Yeah, just have steak dipped in ketchup. That's a way.
No,
to eat
man, you just
ketchup.
gotta marinate it properly. Get
Yeah.
a little bit of onions in that thing.
I'm personally a big ketchup fan, so
Yeah, you're like my roommate. roommate.
Yeah.
My roommate puts ketchup on
Hey,
everything.
back onto in terms of the clickbait discussion.
Exactly.
Like, let's.
That ketchup topic was clickbait
since
in
we've already
itself.
discussing cancer. The cancer
See,
of media.
I wrapped you guys into clickbait by talking about Trump and steak and ketchup.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, for me, clickbait is taking reading one article or one video and developing an opinion. Like I had a friend that I talked to about politics after not seeing him for a very long time, and then he's like, "Oh, so what do you think about Trump offering to pay the legal fees of his protesters punching of his supporters punching protesters?" And it was one rally and it was one time, and I don't agree with it and I disagree with it completely, but I kept trying to make an argument of how that Trump didn't he apologize or say it was wrong or something?
Yeah.
He corrected himself somehow.
Yeah.
And with Trump, I'll take anything I can get. So he corrected himself somehow, and he's like, "That's not what I said. It's not true. It's fake news," or whatever. But he just kept drilling that one event, that one thing. Throw a tomato at him. Do something. Blah blah blah. And he just kept. And I'm like, you cannot base an entire argument off of one thing.
Yeah.
So that's another form of clickbait. to me.
In terms of
Sorry for talking.
no, it's okay. Real news versus clickbait. How can you tell between the two? How can you tell what's real and what's not?
I talk too much. You guys take.
Also, Marshall, you're a fascist for eating steak with ketchup.
Yes, I saw that.
Say it again.
Guilty.
How can you tell real news from fake news?
Yeah. How can you tell? What can you do?
You have to click on it, honestly, and then just make your own opinion.
Like,
Here, I'll give you
it's
guys a
tough.
pro tip.
Honestly, it's tough.
Essentially, how do we as individuals make sure we perceive proper and authentic content?
I
And
think
not
you have
fall
to
for the
click on it,
clickbait?
and then you share it to other people to figure out, like, see what more people have to say about it.
Doesn't that spread it though? And
It
make
may
it
spread
worse?
it, but like it also could like just
It's just
people
like
get
give
more
it context though. Say like, what do you guys think of this?
Yeah.
Now, one thing for me, there's many things you can do. It's very important to look at other sources, see who's reporting on it, if it's a reputable source, see what they're saying, critically analyze it. One thing that I find is a pretty good trick that you can do really quickly and just, decide whether something is probably true or probably false. What does the person involved have to gain?
from that reporting.
Like when people are saying like this police officer came out saying he had proof that Trump had that Obama had faked his birth certificate. What does Obama have to gain from faking his birth certificate? Even Obama could have been born on Mars. He still qualifies to have been the president. His mother was born in the States. He's a natural born U.S. citizen. Does not matter where he was born. He has nothing.
Well, that's the same
to
thing with
gain.
Ted Cruz. He was raised in Alberta for
Exactly.
a
But
significant
both his
portion
parents
of-
born in the U.S.
Yeah, so who cares?
Obama has nothing to gain from faking his birth certificate. Or you look at, let's think of another one. What was a big fake news piece?
Pizzagate? I don't know.
I mean, in that case, like there is something to gain, so that's why it's not a foolproof method. But it's a preliminary method.
What about Trump ordering Chris Christie meatloaf?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but
Okay, there was an
Like, what
article.
is Trump?
Okay.
What would Trump have to gain?
I feel
from
like
getting-
all I know about Trump is the food that he eats. Basically, Chris Christie and Trump, when he was kind of shopping around the Republican Party to see who he would pick to put in his cabinet, he went out with Chris Christie a few times for dinner, and Trump ordered on behalf of Chris Christie without letting him choose from the menu.
Oh wow!
Mansplainer.
Yeah, I'll take from the kids menu.
Mansplainer.
So there was a whole analyzing of power games that Trump was playing, and I can see that argument. But another argument I can see is maybe he was just hungry and wanted to move on, and wanted to get the order going. Yeah. So he ordered the meatloaf for Chris Christie. So that was just a funny thing. For me.
Do we really care? About
Did you actually want to talk about like fake news?
well, no, I mean like because it's not always fake news, but like fake news is such a broad term. Fake news can apply to misleading headlines, can apply to sensationalism, can apply
But
to things
that's also
that are fake.
applies to clickbait then.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can talk about it because
Look at another source of cancer right here. We can see BuzzFeed News right here. Look at this other.
Let me
in
get
terms of this,
to it.
22 signs animals are definitely planning a revolt. Like that's ridiculous.
Hold on,
in terms
wait.
of their
I have a
actual,
friend that would
Go to
love
it?
that
In terms of their
article.
actual-
Where does
okay.
it say it?
that was like for their like actual like page, which
Yeah.
isn't necessarily in terms of reporting. Stupid, but that's not in terms of.
It's
like,
not
what we're-
harmful. It's silly, but it's
that's
not
what
harmful.
we're talking about in comparison. Here, this one. This one's actually going to affect Canadians right here. The Trudeau government budget makes drinking, smoking, and public transit more expensive.
That's true.
That simple headline alone is
Yeah.
going to get people talking. He's going to make people angry at the Trudeau government automatically.
See, like I'm biased because I read the budget, and that's true.
It's certainly a true statement, but
they're
it's
putting a
also
hefty
not giving the
tax.
full story.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I read that budget. And I thought I was dreaming briefly.
2%
Like,
increase on tax on alcohol every year to keep up with inflation.
What do you mean you were dreaming?
I couldn't believe it that it was real. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was being punked.
Do you see the tweet that Maxime Bernier had about laying down the budget, and it's just somebody throwing money into a fire?
Yeah,
So I thought that was funny.
He's the king of memes.
he is.
honestly,
honestly,
and that's how you get the young
memes,
voters.
Memes are the key to winning an election.
It really
That's
is.
what we've seen, the meme war.
And
Yeah.
even like Aaron O'Toole, like he's going into the memes now. Like
Yeah,
it's such a phenomenon. Just memes.
Pokemon. Go to the polls.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I still can't believe Clinton said that. How does anyone think that's an
Thank
acceptable
you.
thing to
Good
say?
night, and may the force be with you. Or I want to be as a president as Beyonce as a performer. I'm like, okay.
Wait, did she actually say that maybe the force be with you?
Yeah.
Thing? Oh my god. I
Well,
didn't
yeah,
know that.
at the end of one of the debates with Bernie, when episode 7 had just come out, she said, "Thank you, good night, and may the force be with you."
I just
That's
feel like
ridiculous.
It just doesn't work
there's
with
a certain
her.
person who can pull that off.
There's a
I
time
think
and place.
Hillary's not that person. Neither is Bernie. I don't think Bernie can.
I think
necessarily
Obama
pull
is that person. though.
Obama could totally
Obama,
pull that off.
Obama
did
could
pull that
pull
off.
off a
See,
meme.
Yeah.
In one of the end of his press conferences, he's like, "All
See,
right, everybody, I'm
back
gonna
in
get
terms
to
of
the
the-
Star Wars."
Back talking about the credibility of John Oliver, like he did one episode talking about like the Canadian election, like our
that
last
was
one.
that was a good episode.
I liked it; it was interesting and stuff. But like,
He was obviously very biased, but yeah.
Oh,
He
But,
went to-
100%.
I also hate
went
Stephen
into-
Harper with a burning passion.
100%.
so.
But
Sorry.
there's no denying of the bias that episode had. But in terms of having a president or a head of state being relatable towards the people and saying stuff like that, they had one thing where like Stephen Harper's like, "Oh, fun fact about me, I like watching movies and
I
TV
was
shows on
talking about
Netflix.
that. Yeah.
My
No.
favorite show is Breaking Bad." And I'm like, that's not how you connect to
Yeah,
your
no.
people.
John Oliver said it's like an alien trying to blend in with the family.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
yeah, that was a bad.
and then
bad
the
I think it
episode of
depends on the types
Murdoch
of
Mysteries
interview.
that Harper was in when they interviewed him after is like, I like watching Murdoch Mysteries with my daughter. My daughter was very happy that I was on this episode. Like,
And he was also in Corner Gas, just like, do
Yeah.
you prefer prairie dogs or gophers? I like gophers.
So
yeah.
stupid.
I mean, I did like his performance on Murdoch Mysteries. It was very short,
I
but
cannot get over Murdoch's eyeliner. I just can't look past it.
yeah, I know. And I don't know what it is. Canadian television.
It's garbage.
No, I don't. I love Canadian television. Why are they so bad at doing makeup on Canadian television?
Don't know.
You ever watch Life with Derek? Yeah, your
Yeah.
buddy was on Life with Derek.
Yeah.
What,
Your
on
buddy was on
Family?
Life with Derek?
My friend's boyfriend was on Life with Derek.
Why is their makeup so bad on that show? And why do I notice it?
Because Canadians are beautiful and we don't need makeup.
Ooh,
True.
Amen.
True.
Amen.
But yeah, I've just
Our skin's just peeling from the cold wind.
viewers, tell me what you think. Why is makeup so bad on Canadian television? I like Canadian television. Corner Gas and Murdoch Mysteries are two of my favorite
Yes.
shows. But the makeup in Canadian TV is god awful. God awful.
See,
Hot
I
take,
mean, like,
hot take, hot take.
You heard it here first, folks. See, I don't really focus on that though. I just focus on the
I
content.
don't
like,
either. I've never
like,
focused on it once except when I notice it because it's so obvious.
I watch Murdoch Mysteries when I'm sick, so I'm already half out of it. So. No, but another thing that clickbait is all these young folk like us that watch things like The Rebel.
Oh, they're 100% clickbait.
Oh,
look,
yeah.
look at what's going on with the Rebel, buddy.
The Rebel, and
Especially now, they're doing it more.
See,
even
but-
worse.
and it's
It is kind of
liberal
clickbait.
counterparts.
it is clickbait,
it's
but
just
like
clickbait, so
it
makes
is
you want to
like
click it, and then they actually start talking
Yeah.
about actual stuff.
I YouTube videos I hold to less guilt for using clickbait
Yeah,
because like
YouTube videos,
Yeah.
you are on their website. You are
'Cause
physically
especially-
going to
Yeah,
click and
exactly.
watch.
especially something I learned in my digital media class is that a movie starts with the first frame. So even YouTube videos, they make a Photoshop file and they make it the first frame of the video
Yeah.
with some sort of title
Yeah.
so that you click on it, right?
Yeah, it's like a hot girl in the icon, and you're like, "Ooh, let's click on this," and it's
Yeah.
a whole thing about brushing your tongue to avoid bacteria.
Exactly.
So another thing that I think that Facebook has a lot to do with this. I'm talking about Facebook, and what did I want to do? What did I want to say? A lot of things that Facebook has to do. Facebook is very good at autoplaying. When you want to watch a video on Facebook, you autoplay, and it automatically starts playing another video and another video and another video, and it's all these little videos like now this politics, AJ Plus, BuzzFeed, Mick, Vox, and it's all these 2-minute videos that they just grab you. And they put all these nice graphics and cool background music, or in the instance of AJ Plus, they put like an attractive newscaster like Dana Takruri or Francesca Fiorentini, or even the guys that they have on there are pretty attractive, like Ahmed Shahibuddin and all those people. Like I would watch that news. I don't
What
care
are you
what.
insinuating there?
I don't know any of those names.
Saying.
I don't know any of those names except for Francesca.
Yeah, no, but like I'm liberal.
It's a marketing
trash.
ploy,
I watch
100%.
AJ Plus.
I don't typically see actual reporters on AJ Plus. I just usually see those videos with the text overlays.
Yeah, it's never.
No. Like if
It's
you
like
follow,
HuffPo. Like it's
if you
just
follow
videos.
the
Vox is the same
page,
thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you follow a page constantly, then you get more of their videos on your news feed.
True.
Yeah.
So I
guess I see only the most popular ones.
Yeah, exactly. Or
So look at
things
this,
that
like an
people
example. Look
share.
at some of the stuff like they're just headlines like of for their thumbnails for YouTube for the Rebel Media.
Let me go to it.
Funding terrorism, free speech under attack, no religion in public school. CBC omits the facts or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, free speech wars, Down syndrome. What? Down syndrome day hypocrisy, like white privilege on transit, like it.
Although
Like, everyone
And then
does
the
it, though.
white privilege on transit about the TTC video right there.
Yeah.
I think anything that's a video is like, it doesn't matter what its headline is, because I think like it has to have like an attention grabbing headline, and so do articles. But like
people should be okay with that.
I think
to
there's a
some degree.
difference between watching a video and reading an article in terms of like what you absorb from it. When you read an article, it's so easy to glaze over and pick up keywords and just like, or gloss over rather, pick up keywords and just like, take exactly what they want you to take from it, or take exactly what you want to take from it. When you watch a video, it's like, it's hard to ignore all the aspects of it. So you take a video like white privilege on transit. I haven't seen that video yet, but
I watched it this morning.
you watch it, and who was it? Gavin McInnes?
No, it's Daisy, whatever his name is.
Oh, Brian Lilly?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Brian Lilly talking,
Daisy.
and I like Brian Lilly. He's actually
A different
centrist.
flower.
He comes on and just speaks, and you can't just like tune into certain words that he
You have
says.
to listen
You
to
hear
everything.
every
The
word he
thing-
says if you watch the whole video.
The thing about videos, though, is also, according to Austin, videos are worse because so many news sources will cut it to make it look extremely one-sided. And also, Robert says that sources are so important. So I think that both those two combined, if you have a right source, then the video will be fine. But if you have a bad source, it'll be pretty biased.
Absolutely.
Could we like name some examples of like bad
See, but what is
sources?
a bad source?
Yeah.
To
Something
you,
that is-
a bad source could be Vox, but to a much more left-wing person, Vox could be the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's also very subjective. But the thing is,
Well, no,
in
I'm
order
just
to
saying it doesn't matter
understand-
who it comes from, but like, where's Vox getting their information from?
It's also a matter of facts over feelings. If a source is reporting opinions and it doesn't say it's op-ed, then that's a bad source.
See, but you are in news media and in media production here at Ryerson, yes?
Yo,
I think
guys,
so.
we have 2 minutes left of the show.
Yeah, no, it's
I
okay.
just
I
want
just
to
want him
want to say this
finish.
very quickly. To people like us, and not even to people like us, to people, I don't want to say below us, but not as involved as us,
yeah.
it's all the same crap.
The undesirable.
It's all the same crap. It doesn't matter if it's op-ed, editorial,
Yeah.
They
letter
just
to the
read.
editor,
They just, like,
blah, blah,
glance
blah,
through
blah,
and
blah.
that's it, yeah.
And we don't even read anymore. It's now the videos, and we don't even watch the videos anymore. We read the headlines, and it's not
No,
even
absolutely.
the headlines anymore. It's the notification
Yeah.
little thing on the side of Facebook that shows you how many people are talking about something.
So we do have to go. Want to get the music ready? Yeah, that was an amazing discussion. Very lively. We had a lot of views. So that was our show for this week. Thank you to everyone that tuned in and that messaged us live. We actually received a
love
lot
you,
of
Austin.
messages. Austin and Rob, who also came and showed
Thanks,
us.
Austin and Rob.
Robert was
Shout out
actually
to
the one who
Robbie.
showed us the newspaper, by the way. So a brand new episode of the Raben Report will be coming to you next week, same day, same time, same people.
And that's not clickbait.
No, it won't be clickbait, but make sure to click the link to watch our video.
Four
though.
cis white males that are gonna blow your mind next week. That's the headline.
I'm so calling it that, honestly. Yeah, so have a great day, everyone.